Asterisk, the massive hall of the Galactic Council floated in the void between stars. Ambassador Sarah Chun stood before the assembled aliens, her back straight despite the heavy gravity. She represented Earth, a planet most species considered primitive. Counselor Zarkonian, a creature with 6 arms and scales that shimmered purple, rose from his seat. His species, the Zarkonians, controlled half the galaxy's trade routes. They looked down on younger races, especially humans. The humans request membership in the Galactic Council, Zarkonian announced, his voice dripping with mockery. These creatures who still burn fossil fuels, who took 20,000 years just to leave their own solar system. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Sarah's jaw tightened, but she remained silent. Behind her, Captain Min Jun Park touched his concealed weapon. Sarah raised her hand slightly, telling him to wait. "Look at them," continued Counselor Zircon from the Vex Empire. "They still age. They still die from diseases. Their ships move like wounded animals through space. They are children playing with dangerous toys." Sarah stepped forward. The Galactic Council's charter states that any spacefaring civilization may apply for membership. We have met all requirements. Requirements? Zarkonian's laugh sounded like breaking glass. You barely qualify as sentient. Your planet is divided into hundreds of nations. You war among yourselves. You destroy your own environment. You are parasites. The word hung in the air. Parasites. Sarah's hands formed fists at her sides. Admiral Jung-Hoon Lai watched from Earth's command station, millions of light years away. The live feed showed everything. Every human colony, every ship, every citizen watched as their species was humiliated. "The Council votes," announced the Supreme Chancellor, a being of pure energy. "All opposed to human membership?" Every hand, tentacle, and appendage rose. All 347 member species voted against Earth. Humans are hereby banned from Council space. You have 1 solar rotation to remove all your ships and colonies from our territories, Zarkonian declared. Return to your dying planet, parasites. Evolve for another 1,000,000 years. Then perhaps we'll reconsider. Sarah Chun stood still for a long moment. Then she smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Very well," she said quietly. "The Galactic Council has made its position clear. Humanity will remember this day." She turned and walked out, her team following. Min Jun whispered, "They'll regret this." Sarah's smile grew wider. "Yes, they will." Back on Earth, emergency sessions convened. President Seo-Yeon Kim addressed the United Nations of Earth. For the first time in human history, every country stood as one. "They called us parasites," she said, her voice calm but eyes burning. "They mocked our struggles, our growth, our achievements. They forgot something important about humans." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "We are not parasites. We are survivors. We are fighters. And we have something they don't understand. We get angry. Very, very angry." Dr. Chung Wei, Earth's leading physicist, presented his secret project. "We've been hiding our true capabilities. The warp drives they mock? Those are our old models. The weapons they think we have? Child's toys compared to reality. The screen showed Earth's real fleet, ships that bent space-time, weapons that could crack planets, shields that could withstand supernovas. We showed them weakness because we wanted peace," President Kim continued. "But they chose to humiliate us instead. They want to see humanity's true face? Let's show them." Across Earth and its hidden colonies, forges fired up. Ships emerged from cloaked shipyards. Soldiers who had been training in secret for decades, prepared for war. Sarah Chun arrived at Earth's primary fleet station. Admiral Lee greeted her. "They really don't know, do they?" Lee asked. "No," Sarah replied, removing her diplomatic uniform and putting on her real one, Admiral Chun, commander of Earth's Shadow Fleet. They think we're weak because we chose to appear weak. They forgot that humans are persistence hunters. We don't give up. We don't forgive. And we definitely don't forget. The countdown began. In one solar rotation, the galaxy would learn why humans were really called the most dangerous species in the universe. Asterisk, deep beneath Earth's surface. In bunkers that stretched for miles, humanity prepared for war. These facilities had been secret for 5,000 years. Built when humans first encountered alien signals and realized they were not alone and not welcome. Commander Chun Wei stood before a massive holographic display showing the galaxy. Red dots marked council territories. Blue showed hidden human bases nobody knew existed. Operation Parasite begins in 12 hours, he announced to the assembled generals. They want to call us parasites? Let's show them what parasites really do. On Mars, now terraformed and green, factories that had been dormant activated. Captain Min Jun supervised the awakening of the Ghost Fleet. 10,000 ships built in complete secrecy, each one capable of destroying a small moon. Sir, all ships report ready, Lieutenant C.O. Yan reported. The Council has no idea these exist. Min Jun smiled grimly. They think we have 300 ships. They're about to meet 30,000. Meanwhile, on the Council's capital world, Zarkonians celebrated with other Council members. They laughed about the primitive humans and their pathetic display. Did you see the female's face? Zirkin chuckled. She actually thought they deserved membership. They'll crawl back to their world and die out in a few millennia, another counselor added. Natural selection at work. They didn't notice the small probe that had attached itself to their station. It was human technology, so advanced it was invisible to their sensors. It listened, recorded, and transmitted everything back to Earth. Yung-Hoon Lee reviewed the intelligence. They're not even on alert. They truly believe we're harmless. President Kim watched from Earth's command center. 5,000 years ago, when we first heard alien transmissions, we had a choice. Reveal ourselves as we were, divided, weak, struggling, or pretend to be even weaker while we grew strong in secret. She turned to her advisors. Our ancestors chose wisely. We've been playing dumb for millennia, letting them think we're backwards. Every failed mission was planned. Every primitive technology we showed them was a prop. Dr. Sarah Chun, the ambassador's sister and Earth's lead weapons designer, revealed humanity's crown jewel, the quantum erasure weapon. This doesn't just destroy, she explained. It removes things from existence. Past, present, future, gone like they never existed. And they have no defense against it? Asked General Park. How can you defend against something you don't know exists? Against technology you think is impossible? Across human space, soldiers prepared. Not the few million the Council thought Earth possessed, but 10 billion warriors, trained since childhood. Humans lived longer than the Council knew, not 100 years, but 500. Thanks to genetic modifications kept secret, on the colony world of New Eden, which the Council didn't know existed, Admiral Chun marshaled the real human fleet. Ships powered by captured black holes, armed with weapons that violated what aliens thought were laws of physics. Every species in the Council underestimated us, she told her captains. They saw our movies, our broadcasts from centuries ago, and thought that was still us. They never wondered why we suddenly went quiet for 5,000 years. Captain Mikhail Volkov commanded the Extinction, humanity's largest warship. My ancestors were told that aliens might be hostile. They prepared. We all prepared. For 5 millennia, every human child learned the truth. We are surrounded by enemies who see us as inferior. The preparation was nearly complete. In hidden shipyards around Jupiter, Saturn, and in the Oort cloud, millions of drones activated. Each one was small, no bigger than a basketball. But together they formed humanity's most terrifying weapon, the swarm. Back in council space, a junior aide to Counselor Zarkonian noticed something odd in the readings. "Sir, there's unusual activity in human space. Probably panicking about leaving," Zarkonian dismissed. "Ignore it." The aide wanted to investigate further, but didn't dare contradict his superior. This would be the Council's greatest mistake. Sarah Chun, the ambassador-turned-admiral, stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, Vengeance. Around her, the greatest fleet ever assembled by humans prepared to move. "They gave us one solar rotation to leave their space," she said to her crew. "But they didn't specify whose solar rotation. By Earth time, that's 365 days. By their capital's rotation, it's only 10 hours. She looked at the countdown timer. 9 hours, 47 minutes. In less than 10 hours, the Galactic Council will learn what humans really are. We're not parasites. We're the apex predators they never saw coming. The Council's border stations detected nothing unusual until it was too late. At exactly the 10-hour mark, space itself seemed to tear open. From wounds in reality emerged the human fleet, not the 300 ships the Council expected, but wave after wave of vessels that defied their understanding of physics. Station. Commander Thexnil of the Varian Empire stared at his sensors in disbelief. Impossible. There are millions of them. Before he could send a warning, his station simply ceased to exist. The quantum erasure weapon left nothing behind. Not debris, not energy signatures, nothing. It was as if the station had never been built. Admiral Chun commanded from the Bridge of Vengeance. Phase 1 complete. Border defenses eliminated. Begin Phase 2. Across 17 sectors, human ships appeared simultaneously. The Council had thought faster-than-light travel had limits. Humans had found ways around those limits 5,000 years ago. On the Council's military command world, panic erupted. General Zarkonian rushed to the war room, his 6 arms working frantically at different consoles. "How did they get past our sensors?" he demanded. "Sir, they didn't get past them," his aide replied, terror in his voice. "They were always there, cloaked, waiting. Some of these signatures, they've been in position for years." Min Jun led the assault on the Zarkonian fleet base. His ships moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing, each strike surgical and devastating. The Zarkonians' mighty dreadnoughts, each one the size of a small moon, crumbled like paper. "Sir, their shields aren't working." A Zarkonian officer screamed. "That's because we're not hitting your shields," Min Jun transmitted to them. "We're phasing through them. Your technology is based on dimensions you can see. Ours uses the ones you can't." Meanwhile, Yung-hoon coordinated the swarm deployment. Billions of tiny drones spread across Council space like a virus. They attached to ships, stations, and communication relays. Waiting for the signal. President Seo Yeon Kim broadcast from Earth to every Council world simultaneously, another impossibility by their understanding. "Galactic Council, this is Earth. You called us parasites. You banished us. You humiliated us before the galaxy. We offered friendship, and you gave us contempt." Her image appeared on every screen, every display, every communication device in Council space. "You forgot something about parasites. They're survivors. They adapt. They overcome. And sometimes they consume their hosts entirely." She paused, letting the words sink in. "You have 1 hour to surrender unconditionally. After that, we will show no mercy." Counselor Zircon of the Vex Empire responded with typical arrogance. "You dare threaten us? We have protected the galaxy for 1,000,000 years. You are nothing but upstart primitives." He ordered his empire's greatest weapon activated, the Star Killer, a device that could trigger supernovas. But when his forces tried to fire it, nothing happened. Sarah Chun, the weapons designer, appeared on his personal screen. "Looking for this?" She held up a small device. "We took your Star Killer 3 years ago, replaced it with a replica. You never noticed because you never thought to look." The reveal sent shockwaves through the council. If humans had infiltrated that deeply, what else had they done? Captain Volkov demonstrated the answer. His ship, Extinction, appeared in the heart of Vex space and fired a single shot. The Vex's artificial sun, which powered their entire system, flickered and died. But instead of going nova, it transformed into something else, a human power generator. "We're not destroying your technology," Volkov announced. "We're repurposing it. Every shot we fire doesn't destroy, it converts. Your weapons, your ships, your stations, they all work for us now." Terror spread through council ranks as they realized the truth. This wasn't a war. It was an assimilation. Every battle they lost didn't just weaken them. It strengthened humanity. The Galactic Council called an emergency session. For the first time in their 1,000,000-year history, they faced an enemy they couldn't understand, couldn't predict, and couldn't stop. "How?" Zarkonian asked, his voice broken. "How did primitive humans become this?" Sarah Chun, the ambassador, appeared before them via hologram, standing in the same spot where they had humiliated her. "You want to know how?" she asked. "For 5,000 years, every human child grew up knowing aliens existed and looked down on us. Every scientist worked to prove you wrong. Every soldier trained to fight you. Every leader planned for this day." She smiled that same cold smile from before. "You united us with your contempt. You gave us purpose with your arrogance. You made us strong with your mockery. Congratulations, Galactic Council. You created your own extinction." Asterisk in the Grand Chamber, where they had humiliated humanity just hours ago, the Galactic Council now huddled in fear. Their 1,000,000-year-old alliance crumbled as member species blamed each other for the catastrophe. "You insisted on insulting them." The Etherian ambassador accused Zarkonian. "We could have given them membership. You all voted against them." Zarkonian shot back, his scales flickering with rage and fear. "Every single one of you." Supreme Chancellor Ixtheta, the energy being who had overseen the council for eons, pulsed with desperation. "Silence. We must unite or face extinction." But unity was impossible now. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The humans weren't just winning. They were doing the impossible. Entire fleets vanished without debris. Planets' defense systems turned against their owners. Stars themselves obeyed human commands. Zirkarn attempted to rally his forces. The Vex Empire has never fallen. We have weapons from the ancient times, technology from civilizations that transcended reality itself. He activated the Omega Vault, releasing weapons that hadn't been used since the last galactic war, 500,000 years ago. Ships made of living metal, viruses that could destroy computer systems across light years, bombs that could unravel space-time. Admiral Chun watched from vengeance as the ancient weapons deployed. "They're finally taking us seriously. Jung-hoon, Min-jun, initiate Protocol 7. Across human ships, soldiers smiled grimly. Protocol 7 was what they'd trained for, the Council's desperation phase. The living metal ships, charged toward human forces, adapting to every weapon, learning from every attack. They were unstoppable, unkillable machines of Wargot until they met humans in person. Captain Seo Yan led a boarding party onto one of the living ships. The metal tried to consume them, to adapt to their weapons. But humans had something the metal couldn't adapt to: unpredictability. Now, Co Yan shouted that her team didn't use energy weapons or projectiles. They used something far simpler, a computer virus written in human creativity, in art, in music, in pure chaos. The living metal, programmed for logic and adaptation, couldn't comprehend it. It tried to adapt to Shakespeare, to Beethoven, to children's drawings, to human dreams and nightmares all at once. The ship didn't just stop fighting. It started creating, transforming into a massive sculpture of Earth, a monument to human expression. Meanwhile, the Council's space-time bombs detonated, expecting to tear holes in reality. But instead of destruction, they found human scientists had already been there. In the spaces between dimensions. Dr. Chon Wei appeared on Council screens. You're trying to break space-time? We've been living in those breaks for 3,000 years. We call it the Void Network. Every impossible movement of our fleet, we're not traveling through space. We're stepping outside it. The revelation shattered the Council's understanding. Humans hadn't just caught up to their technology. They'd surpassed it in ways that violated everything the Council believed possible. In desperation, Zarkonian activated the ultimate failsafe, the Galactic Reset, a device that would destroy all technology in the galaxy, sending every civilization back to the Stone Age. If we cannot have the galaxy, no one can, he declared, pressing the activation sequence. Nothing happened. Sarah Chun, the ambassador, materialized in the chamber, not as a hologram, but in person, stepping out of thin air. The Galactic Reset was a beautiful piece of technology, she said calmly. We studied it, improved it, and most importantly, we immunized ourselves against it. Would you like to see what our version does? She held up a small device, no bigger than her palm. This won't destroy technology. It will selectively edit reality. Every insult, every humiliation, every moment of arrogance from the Council, reversed. Your people will remember you not as leaders, but as the fools who provoked humanity. The Council members backed away from her, finally understanding the true horror of their situation. Humans weren't just defeating them militarily. They were rewriting the narrative of galactic history. Please, Supreme Chancellor Ixtheta pleaded, his energy form flickering with fear. We surrender. What do you want? Admiral Chun's voice echoed through the chamber. What we always wanted: respect, recognition, and now justice. The human fleet surrounded every Council world, but they didn't attack. They waited, letting the fear sink in, letting the Council understand how it felt to be powerless, to be looked down upon, to be called parasites. President Kim broadcast the final ultimatum: dissolve the Council. Free every species you've oppressed. Share all technology equally, or we'll show you what parasites really do to their hosts. The Galactic Council's surrender came not with bonds or battles, but with a simple transmission: we yield. In the chamber where everything began, the 347 member species gathered one last time. But now, human soldiers stood guard, and Admiral Sarah Chun sat in the Supreme Chancellor's seat. You called us parasites, she began, her voice carrying across the silent hall. You were right, in a way. Parasites survive by adapting, by being stronger than their hosts realize. But we're not parasites. We're symbiotes. We make our hosts stronger, if they let us. Zarkonian, his 6 arms bound by energy restraints, spoke with broken pride. What will you do with us? Sarah stood, walking among the defeated Council members. What you never did for anyone else, we'll give you a choice. President Co Yeon Kim appeared via hologram, addressing the entire galaxy. The old Galactic Council is dissolved. In its place, we establish the United Galactic Alliance. Every species, no matter how young or old, how advanced or developing, gets equal representation. Murmurs of disbelief rippled through the chamber. Zircon couldn't contain his shock. You're giving us seats at the table? After everything? That's what humans do, Jung-hoon explained, appearing beside Sarah. We don't hold grudges against those who learn. Your choice is simple. Join as equals or isolation. But no more hierarchies based on age or technology. Min-jun presented the new structure. Every species brings something unique. The Zirconians' trade expertise, the Vex's energy technology, the Etherians' dimensional knowledge. All valuable, all equal. The revelation of humanity's true capabilities continued. Dr. Chon Wei demonstrated technologies that made council achievements look primitive. Medical nanobots that ended death itself. Energy sources that drew power from parallel universes. Food replicators that ended hunger across entire systems. You hid all this? Supreme Chancellor Ixtheta asked, his energy form wavering with amazement. We developed it while you weren't watching, Chun Wei replied. Every time you dismissed us, we worked harder. Every insult drove us to prove you wrong. Your contempt was our greatest motivator. But humanity's greatest revenge wasn't technological. It was philosophical. Sarah. Chun revealed the truth that shattered the Council's worldview. We've been in contact with the ancients, the ones you worship, the ones who built the first technologies you use. She displayed communications, clear and undeniable. They've been watching through us. Every primitive human they saw was their test for you. You failed. You showed arrogance instead of wisdom, cruelty instead of guidance. The ancients chose humanity as their successors, not because we're strong, but because we remember what it's like to be weak. The council members stood in stunned silence as holographic beings materialized, the ancients themselves, beings of pure thought and energy. The humans speak truth, the lead ancient confirmed. We tested you through them. They offered friendship, you gave contempt. They showed vulnerability, you responded with mockery. The galaxy needs leaders who lift others up, not tear them down. Zirconian fell to his knees, his 6 arms trembling. We were the test? And you failed, the ancient continued. But the humans offer you something we never would, a second chance. Captain Volkov coordinated the galaxy's transformation. Human technology uplifted every willing species. Worlds that had suffered under council restrictions suddenly flourished. Trade routes opened to all. Knowledge flowed freely, but not everyone accepted the new order. Some council hardliners, led by a faction of Zirconians, attempted one final attack. They gathered their remaining loyal forces and struck at Earth itself. The attack lasted exactly 3.7 seconds. Earth's true defenses activated, not shields or weapons, but something far more elegant. The attacking fleet was transported instantly to a pocket dimension, a teaching realm where they would experience every moment of suffering they had ever caused others. Not as punishment, but as education.co-yeon addressed them in their prison. You'll be released when you truly understand why your way was wrong. Some of you will be free in days. Others ... may take centuries. The choice is yours. 6 months later, the first Galactic Assembly under human leadership convened. Species that had never been allowed in council space now sat as equals. Technologies that had been hoarded were shared freely. Zirconian, reformed and humbled, approached Sarah Chun. I owe you an apology. We called you parasites, but you've given the galaxy more in 6 months than we did in 1,000,000 years. Sarah smiled, not the cold smile from before, but a warm, genuinely human expression. That's because we remember being small. We remember needing help. And we remember that today's primitive species might be tomorrow's leaders. She looked out at the assembly, at hundreds of species working together as equals. Welcome to humanity's galaxy. We're all parasites here, and we're all magnificent. The end, asterisk.